Deborah Roberts shares support for ABC News colleague Bill Ritter amid health news. ABC News anchor Bill Ritter made headlines last month after he shared that he was stepping down from his role due to health issues during a broadcast. Since then, however, he has received support from a figure who also has a history with the network. This was Deborah Roberts, who shared another connection to Ritter's story. Deborah Roberts and Bill Ritter both are ABC News alumni. Ritter started working at WABC-TV in 1998. Initially anchoring weekend broadcasts, he also worked as a correspondent for ABC News and 20/20. The following year, he became the permanent 11 p.m. anchor, taking over for Bill Buell. Throughout his career, he also worked for Good Morning America and Eyewitness News. For her part, Roberts moved to ABC News in 1995. Over the years, she would lend her talents to 20/20, World News Tonight Weekend, and Good Morning America. In her personal life, she is also known for her marriage to NBC's Today's Al Roker. As previously reported, Ritter recently walked away from his daily anchor desk, announcing his decision in June 2026. At the time, he shared that he was dealing with an early-stage Alzheimer's disease diagnosis. Since then, Ritter and Roberts shared a little reunion on social media. Roberts shared a photo of both of them smiling for a selfie on Instagram. During her share, Roberts thanked Ritter for his courage, kindness, and determination. Roberts shared, "This guy is one of my newest heroes. Bill Ritter and I have worked alongside each other for many years at ABC News. He's one of the most recognizable faces on WABC." Roberts noted the personal connection that she has to what Ritter is going through. As she explained, recently he announced, on air, that he's living with Alzheimer's disease. "It pricked my heart deeply and personally since I lost both my mom and my oldest sister to complications from Alzheimer's." IG. Roberts praised Ritter for his share, all the while highlighting just how important it was to share these stories. She continued, "Fortunately for us all, Bill will continue reporting on his journey and medical discoveries about this awful disease of fog and memory loss, which devastates millions of families each year. He tells me that it will affect more of us as we age, and that we need more national commitment to help caregivers and those battling." Roberts concluded the post, "Thank you, Bill, for your courage, kindness, and determination to fight and to lead the charge in this massive war against dementia. We'll be watching your urgent reporting." What is your reaction to Deborah Roberts and Bill Ritter's recent share? Have you been following this story? Are you keeping up with Good Morning America? Make sure you come back to TV Shows Ace for all the latest TV and celebrity news. Deborah Roberts shares heartfelt support for ABC News colleague Bill Ritter amid health news. A deeply personal moment involving longtime ABC News journalist Bill Ritter has prompted an outpouring of support from colleagues, viewers, and fellow journalists. Among those showing their support is Deborah Roberts, who has shared a warm message for Ritter as he navigates a major new chapter in his life following his early-stage Alzheimer's diagnosis. Ritter, 76, recently stepped away from his longtime role as an anchor at WABC-TV in New York after publicly revealing that he had been diagnosed with early-stage Alzheimer's disease. His announcement was emotional, not only because it marked the end of an era on the news desk, but also because Ritter chose to share his diagnosis openly with the audience that had trusted him for decades. For Roberts, the news appears to have carried an especially meaningful weight. The two journalists have spent years working within the ABC News family, building careers around reporting difficult stories, interviewing important figures, and connecting with audiences during some of the biggest moments in the news cycle. Now, the spotlight has turned toward Ritter himself. Bill Ritter's emotional health announcement. Ritter made his diagnosis public during his final 6 p.m. Eyewitness News broadcast on June 12, 2026. After more than 25 years as a familiar face on New York television, he explained to viewers why he was stepping away from the anchor desk. The decision came after Ritter and his family noticed changes in his memory. He later explained that he had initially struggled with remembering names and places. Because of his demanding schedule, He wondered whether exhaustion or lack of sleep might be responsible. But the symptoms continued. During a subsequent appearance on Good Morning America, Ritter explained that he eventually underwent further testing. The diagnosis confirmed what he and his family had feared: early-stage Alzheimer's disease. The journalist admitted that the news was frightening, particularly because his father had died with Alzheimer in 1998. Yet Ritter also made it clear that he did not want his diagnosis to define the rest of his life. Instead, he wanted to prioritize his wife, children, and grandchildren while using his platform to raise awareness about the disease. Deborah Roberts offers support. That is where Roberts' support takes on special significance. Roberts has built a decades-long career at ABC News, including prominent work on programs such as 2020. Her long history in broadcast journalism means she understands the unique pressures that come with spending years in front of millions of viewers. Ritter's situation is different from the stories journalists normally report. This time, he became the story. And his decision to be honest about his health has been widely viewed as an extension of the journalistic values he has demonstrated throughout his career. ABC News itself highlighted Ritter's message after he went public with his diagnosis. During his appearance on Good Morning America, Ritter spoke about the tremendous response he received after sharing his story, emphasizing the way Alzheimer's affects families across all backgrounds. Roberts' supportive message comes during a period when Ritter is receiving considerable attention from people who have followed his career for years. A career built on trust. Ritter's departure represents the end of an important chapter in New York television news. He became a fixture at WABC-TV after joining the station in the late 1990s. Over the years, viewers came to recognize him not only for his professionalism, but also for his ability to approach serious stories with humanity. His career included major national and international assignments, as well as years of anchoring local newscasts. That long history helps explain why his diagnosis has resonated so strongly. For viewers, Ritter wasn't simply another television personality. He was a familiar presence who had been invited into their homes night after night. For fellow journalists such as Roberts, however, the connection goes even deeper. They understand the long hours, the pressure of live television, and the responsibility of communicating difficult information accurately and compassionately. The human side of Alzheimer. Ritter has also been candid about how the diagnosis has affected his family. His wife, Kathleen Friery, and their children have spoken about the emotional impact of his diagnosis and his decision to publicly address it. People reported that Ritter's family has remained focused on supporting him while making the most of their time together. Friery has described changes she has noticed in Ritter, while also emphasizing that many of the qualities that have always defined him remain. That perspective is important because Alzheimer's is often discussed primarily in terms of memory loss. But for families, the condition can affect communication, routines, relationships, and everyday life in complicated ways. Ritter has chosen to confront those realities rather than hide from them. He has also spoken about receiving treatment intended to slow the progression of the disease. While there is currently no cure for Alzheimer's, Ritter and his family are focusing on living in the present and maintaining meaningful connections. Why Roberts' support matters. Celebrity and television personalities frequently send public messages of encouragement when colleagues face difficult circumstances. But support from a longtime colleague can carry a different kind of emotional significance. Roberts knows Ritter not simply as the man viewers saw on television, but as a fellow journalist who spent years navigating the same demanding profession. That shared experience makes her support especially poignant. It also reflects something larger about the ABC News community. News organizations are often associated with breaking stories, deadlines, and competition. Behind the scenes, however, journalists form relationships through years of traveling together, covering major events and working long hours under intense pressure. When one of their own faces a personal crisis, those professional connections can become deeply personal. Ritter is choosing family over the spotlight. Perhaps the most powerful part of Ritter's story is that his priorities have changed. After decades of putting journalism first, he has acknowledged that spending time with his family is now more important than remaining behind the anchor desk. His family includes his wife and 3 children, and he has also expressed his desire to spend meaningful time with his grandchildren. People reported that Ritter wants to be present for important family milestones and embrace the time he has with the people closest to him. That decision has earned him admiration from viewers and colleagues alike. Rather than allowing fear to dictate his next chapter, Ritter appears determined to make the most of it. A new chapter for a beloved journalist. Ritter's story is still unfolding. Although stepping away from the anchor desk represents a major professional change, it does not necessarily mean he is walking away from journalism altogether. He has indicated that he hopes to continue raising awareness about Alzheimer's and mentoring younger journalists. That could give him another opportunity to use the skills he developed over decades. Instead of delivering the day's biggest headlines from behind a news desk, he may now have the chance to tell one of the most personal stories of his career: what it means to live with Alzheimer's while refusing to surrender one's sense of purpose. And with colleagues such as Deborah Roberts standing behind him, Ritter is entering that chapter with a powerful reminder that he is not facing it alone. For Roberts and countless others who have worked alongside him, Bill Ritter is more than an anchor. He is a colleague, a friend and a journalist whose career has touched generations of viewers. His health news may have changed his professional path, but the respect surrounding him remains remarkably strong. As Ritter focuses on family, advocacy, and making meaningful memories, the support from Roberts and the wider ABC News community sends a simple but powerful message. Even when the anchor desk is left behind, the relationships built over a lifetime in journalism do not disappear. And for a journalist who spent decades telling other people's stories, this may become the most important chapter of all, one centered not on ratings or headlines, but on courage, honesty, family, and making every moment